I'm not usually one to be easily influenced by others, and I take pride in not doing so. But when I see MKBHD, Austin Evans and Unbox Therapy all recommending the same mouse, I thought there must be something special about this, so I just had to pick it up. And in this video I'm going to give my verdict on this mouse, and I'm going to say whether I think it's good or bad, whether it was worth it, and whether the MKBHD and all those other YouTubers were right about it. And by this thing I mean the Logitech Performance MX. Now this thing is valued at £43 or $63 on Amazon, although you could probably find it a bit less if you shop around in different places. So yeah, this thing isn't that cheap, and there is a whole load of other mice that are cheaper than it. Although for the features it has, I really do think it's actually really worth it. But anyway, I want to start off with this review with saying a bit about the design of this mouse. So this mouse is a right-handed mouse. It's kind of impossible to use it in your left hand. It just isn't comfortable at all, and all of the buttons on this mouse are actually made to be pressed with a thumb that obviously will only be in the right place on your right hand. So if you're a left-handed person, then don't go for this mouse. It's not going to work for you really well. Its size is also just right for my sort of hands, although for smaller hands I don't know if it'll work that well, but my brother seems to use it fine, so it should be fine. But yeah, this actually fits my fingers all the way to the end. There's not that many mouse that actually do that. My previous mouse didn't do that, and all the other mice I tried in the shop didn't do that. So it is really nice to have your whole finger actually on the mouse. Although the weight is a bit heavier than what you're used to. It comes in at 165 grams, which is probably a bit heavier than you're used to with a mouse. So this isn't a mouse that MLG pros are going to be going for, or any big gamers are going to be going for. This is a mouse that you're probably going to want to buy for comfort, and if you want to use around the office. But for gamers who want to play things like StarCraft or maybe some first-person shooter where you're going to have to be moving your hand around a lot, I'd look to get some other mice, not this mouse. Anyway, keeping on the subject of first-person shooters, it's a bit weird that I'm not actually recommending this mouse for gamers, because I actually use this mouse for TF2 myself. And for me it's actually fine using TF2. I actually like the front and back buttons because I assign them to switch the weapon up and down, so it's actually really helpful for me, because I find it really hard to use the numeric keys on the keyboards, like when I'm moving forward. But my brother actually uses our previous mouse for TF2 because he finds it a bit too heavy. So it really is personal preference. If you get the chance to have a hands-on with this mouse before you buy it, then go and do that and try it in some game and see if it works for you. Also, if I go and look at the bottom of this mouse, there's actually an on and off button right here. So if you want to save battery life while it's not being used, then do that. Although I did find that when I leave it on the table, it usually switches itself off anyway. So you shouldn't have to worry about that. And there's also a dark field laser right here. And what that laser actually is basically a laser that can track on anything. So depending on what surfaces you're going to use it on, that may be useful to you or not. Though it can track on transparent glass, so it's just something to keep in mind really. I also like that even though the battery is removable, it's not something you have to go out and buy yourself. We all know the usual term, battery's not included, but this mouse does actually come with a battery, so that's really handy. And it is a rechargeable battery, which this mouse actually requires, so it kind of has to be. And you charge it from the front, which is handy. It's nice to just plug it in from the front. Anyway, I want to go into the functionality of this mouse, because that's where this mouse really shines. So as I said, there's a whole load of features packed into this mouse. It's got things like hyper scrolling, and as I mentioned before, all of the buttons, it's got a whole load of buttons built into it. So if I just look over to the side here, or if you look over to the side here, I'm not looking at the side. It's got a whole load of buttons on it, and they're all customizable, so there's no point me even saying what they do by default. But basically you can customize them to do whatever you want really, or whatever the program lets you do, which is a whole load of things. But there is one complaint I have about it, is that for some reason this button here, which is actually a button, and this zoom button here, which is by default, aren't able to be customized per app. I don't know why they took away this functionality, although all these other buttons are able to be customized, so I can't really complain that much, because there's a whole lot of other buttons to be customized. And talking about buttons, at the top here, there's quite a few things you can do with the scroll wheel. There's this extra button above the scroll wheel here, which actually switches it between two modes, the normal scrolling mode and hyper scrolling. And basically what hyper scrolling is it allows you to just push it back like that, and as you can see it's still going for a long time. It allows you to get to the bottom of documents a lot faster, and for example if you have a long Spotify list, then it lets you get to the top of that, or if you want to get to perhaps the bottom of your subscription feed on YouTube, then it helps you to do that. There's also an app available for Windows that allows you to customize what these buttons do on the side here. I'm not 100% sure if this app's available for Mac users, although I will double check, and if there is, I'll leave an annotation and I'll leave a link in the description below, so you can go and get it for yourself. But basically this app allows you to change a whole load of things about the mouse. It allows you to customize what all the buttons do, allows you to sort out the unifying receiver, and it allows you to change some other settings that are to do with this mouse on the computer. I'm probably going to do a walkthrough of the application a little bit later, so stay tuned for that. But for now, just know that there's an application available to customize all of these buttons. On to my final evaluation of this mouse. Do I like it or don't I like it? Well, I actually really like it. It's really worth it for the £43 I paid, or £40 I paid. I got it on sale. But why do I like this mouse in particular? Well, first things first, it's the first thing that you notice when you look at this mouse, the ergonomics. It's really comfortable to hold, and the thumb buttons are just in the perfect places. Although there is one button that I would kind of complain about a bit, and that's the forward button. It is kind of hard to reach the forward button if you're playing a game. So if you want to do it fast, then it is a bit hard, and I usually find myself in Team Fortress just using the bottom button to switch between weapons. But that's the only button I'd complain about. All the other ones are easy to reach, and I think it's worth it for the buttons. But one thing I would complain about, and I would say that they should improve upon if they were to make another version of this mouse in the future, is to just try and remove the weight as much as possible. This mouse would be a lot better if it was a lot lighter, and I'd be able to find gaming a lot easier. So Logitech, if you want to improve on this mouse, then make it a bit lighter. But apart from that, you all did a pretty good job on it. But anyway guys, thank you for watching. I will be sure to throw all of the specs in the description down below, and I'll also throw the link to the software that goes along with this mouse down below. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a like, and also comment down below if you want me to keep doing review videos, because this is something new I'm doing. I want to move away from just how-to videos, and I want to move on to talking more directly to you guys, and have me in front of the camera. I'm hopefully going to be doing a whole load of these things in the future, and hopefully starting a few more series. So if you want to see what's going to come along with this channel, then be sure to subscribe just above the description box. And thank you guys for watching so much, and thank you for getting to this point in the video if you did. And I'll see you all later.